Hey YouTube, this is Southern Purple One and welcome to Boots on the Ground. If you have a small business or you've written a book or you do anything with a service and you'd like a shout out, please send me your information. The more information you send me, the more information I can share with viewers. Please do it as separate. I've got a lot of people giving me boots on the ground reports, other things, and then they throw in their business. It's very confusing for me. I'm trying to take them and separate them. So if you have a business, just say business shout out. That's all in the title. That way I can grab it and put it in the location and then give you a good shout out to help you support your small business. So let's get right into it. Oh, if you've already sent me something, send it again. Just put business shout out. That way you will get included in the pile. What I'm seeing in Pennsylvania, no lines at the Dunkin' Donuts anymore. Used to be a good 5 to 10 minute wait. Half empty restaurants even on Friday and Saturday. Daycares are struggling. They can't keep up with the dollars other businesses are offering. So they're losing employees left and right and not getting any applications in. Predict some will have to shut down and we will see more moms leaving the workforce because they will not be able to find childcare. Their work, I don't know what these people do, but they say work very slow, no longer getting new customers. This is from the Tennessee-Kentucky border area. Basically, they said their Kroger was well stocked, no shortages. Their Walmart looks well stocked, no shortages. The produce looks fine. So that's some good news. Hopefully, it will continue to be like that. This person said they make homemade almond milk. Is a good substitute for milk substitution. My wife bought an almond cow, in parentheses. It must be some type of grinder for $109 on Amazon. She loves it. Not only do you get a quart of fresh milk from 1 cup of almond, but you can also use the leftover almond pulp for cooking. Another option is to use a blender to make the milk. It just takes a little bit more effort than the cow, but it still works. There are numerous almond milk recipes on the internet if anyone wants to check them out. I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've ever had almond milk, so I'm going to purchase some almond milk and just try it. I love almonds, I love peanuts, I love nuts, so I'm going to try some almond milk. It's not going to be a substitute for me for regular milk, but maybe it's something I would like. Bed Bath & Beyond, they announced that they are shutting down 150 stores. They call them these low-producing stores, and they're laying off 20% of its staff. So that was announced. This is the gentleman that works building fans for heavy equipment. So these are some big fans also. Let me read what he said. I thought things were looking up when they brought me some orders due for parts that I make for fan assemblies. But when I looked at the due date was 9/22/22. Now off to work. Now he's off to work till next Tuesday, then he'll start this. I guess Monday being a holiday. He gave me some pictures of wooden shipping crates that are stacked up behind the manufacturing plant, and they're just adding up. So more and more shipping crates are coming back, and they reuse these, and they're not sending things out. So this is bad. And they also have a warehouse full of them. So definitely a slowdown on the business side. So hopefully over time this business can recover, but I think it's just going to get worse. I think he's doing cleaning this week because he doesn't have a lot of work to do. He also has wife has a good job, so that's what's going to keep him afloat even if he does get laid off. So hopefully things will improve for him and for many other people. Something interesting I thought I'd share considering the energy crisis. It isn't being talked about much in Australia. I recently bought a house and it was in the process of changing the address. My power was going to be. However, I was notified by phone that they will be no longer taking any new accounts or moving people due to the power crisis. Keep in mind this was a large power provider too, so I had to change companies, and luckily they were still signing up people. So he bought a new house, he was changing his power around. So if they're not taking new customers, that is not good for the building industry. I want to let you know what happened on a trip we were on a couple weeks ago. We were flying out of Midway Airport, that's the Chicagoland airport. Went to get some water, a couple snacks from a shop that you see all in the concourse. They didn't have any bags for the product. So we hit 3 different places and they were low on a lot of things. I asked about the bags, and there was no bags at all for the whole airport. So that was definitely a shortage. Our flight was delayed and we needed to grab some grub. 50% of the restaurants were closed. We did find a place. The prices are outrageous, even more than the typical airport prices. We sat down to eat and went to order, and we were told essentially what was available. They were out of everything. There was no chicken dishes at all. Pretty much 90% of the people were eating burgers and fries because that's what they had available. On a positive note, the cooks and the wait staff were fantastic. They're working really hard, yet have a great positive attitude. God bless them, because they were some cranky folks they had to deal with. Last thing, about 50% of the little stores, coffee places, boutique type stores, candy stores, etc. were closed. Normally they're bustling. Signs posted were mostly about being closed due to the lack of workers. The Dunkin' Donuts, I kid you not, had no coffee. They had hot chocolate and tea. No donuts, no food items. It's interesting because in our Phoenix airport, things are mostly open. It is hit and miss. If you think everything's good, I've had people send me emails say everything's good, you're making all these stories up. Nothing's being made up. You are just blessed. You're in a location that has the services and the goods. So take advantage of it. Prepare accordingly. Good news. The local Sam's Club in Pennsylvania had chuck roast that went down in price from $6.25 to $4.95 per pound. I wonder if farmers selling off cattle is having a short-term effect on beef prices. Also, after 9 months, our Sam's Club finally has roasting chickens. They have had a limit of 2 poultry items for a long time, but we're always out of the whole roasted chickens, and I haven't been able to get any since last December. Either I finally got lucky or the inventory has increased. Bad news. I attached a letter received from the PNC Bank. See middle section of the attached letter. Starting October 3rd, the bank will no longer accept any cash or give any cash to customers inside the bank from a teller, nor through the drive-thru. The only way you can get cash or deposit cash is using an ATM. They said they've never used an ATM in my life. This is going to cause me a lot of problems because I believe the limit to take cash out is still $200 for the ATM per a 24-hour period. Plus, our business accepts cash, and I now have to change how we handle and deposit cash compared to checks and money order. Digital currency seems to be very close to becoming a reality. If you still receive reports of people not able to get IV dyes for CT scans and procedures, tell them don't give up and try other labs if possible. My husband doctor sent him to Johns Hopkins in Baltimore instead of using our local county lab because he had better results with getting people scheduled for it. Just one data point, but important. So yes, if you can't get something done, call around, see if someone else has what you need. So the thing with that bank, they sent me the memo, the official letter. I don't think it's all of those banks. It's this one particular. I think they're doing a trial run. So you won't be able to go in and out and exchange currencies with them. That's alarming. All right, let's move on. First, let me say this. I would encourage you to tell others to be careful about stocking up on food that is high in sodium and chemicals. What is the point of being in an emergency and eating bad food and getting sick from the toxic food? That is true. A lot of the freeze-dried stuff is loaded with chemicals, loaded with sodium. So be careful. Sample some before you commit to a year's supply. This person lives in Connecticut. People here are walking around like nothing is going on. Nobody mentions anything. I went to a nearby Aldi the other day. Bread aisle was empty. Not a single bag of sliced bread. Been living in this town that I'm living in now for 3 years. And I have never met any of the neighbors. It's scary. It scares the crap out of me thinking I'm the only one in the streets prepping. I mentioned something at work saying people need to prepare, and someone said, you look like a prepper. We will follow you to your house and take your food and your stuff. Oh my God, that scared me to death. If you're in an area where there's not a lot of preppers, you don't have the support, do not mention you're a prepper. Do not try to convert anyone. Just watch out for yourself. West Central Florida. Thanks for your reports. This invaluable information keeps me ahead of the crowd and helps me with getting others to prep too. I work in insurance, and most premiums have increased 50% or more. Many companies are canceling coverage. A new announcement every week to rewrite to rewrite the policy, I guess, to have a roof, roof has to be less than 10 years with most carriers. And inspections proving updates cost money up front just to qualify. So if you think, oh, that company's too expensive, I'm going to go elsewhere and find insurance, make sure before you cancel your insurance that you don't have to have an inspection, that they don't have requirements, and make sure your house qualifies. Today at Dollar General, I felt lucky to find 2 packages of mucus pills. My husband depends on these to breathe. Price increased from $9 to $9.75. Our local farm store and ranch store has plenty of canning supplies and luckily no problem with my dog food so far, but prices have definitely increased from $32 to $37. I do most of my shopping in a small town where I work. I feel much safer shopping at lunchtime where most people are, and most people are carrying, I assume, a pistol, CWP, as to opposed to after work in a more populated town where there's panhandlers at every stoplight and they seem to congregate in the parking lot, even at the upscale supermarket. I see many shopping carts off retailers' property and few carts available at the store. All seem damaged. Also, bike traffic is way up, and a lot of these seems homeless. And some of these homeless have electric bikes. Did Biden give them those too? That's curious. Electric bikes are the newest thing, and I love them, but how are homeless people having them? I guess they have a place to charge them. This person lives in California. Last night I went to our local Domino's Pizza to get 2 large pizzas. We tried to order it on the phone first, but we got a call center instead of our local pizza shop. And the person didn't know what they were doing, so I decided to just go in and order it there. I did go later than I would usually, but several things still surprised me. In the past, I do not think I've ever seen less than 8 people working, not including drivers. Last night, there were only 2 people working, not including drivers. I had not been there for at least 6 months. Previously, there was a large pizza special for $7.99 takeout only. They said the special now has to be ordered online only. It was unclear to me if it still was $7.99. For 2 large pizzas, buying at the store, the price was now over $26 total. After the guy applied my coupons, he had a hard time with the register and got help from one of the drivers. They were both new employees. In fact, I did not recognize any of the people from the last time I was there. I used to go pretty often, but I've been staying away from fast food as much as possible. The new price will make it a lot easier not to go back. I have been witnessing the slow crumble of this university over the last 2 years. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Last night in one of the dorms, I met a girl from Brazil. The university was providing her housing to work in the food court. This girl didn't know how to work the washing machine at 24 years old. I'm not unfriendly, but I'm not going to teach her how to do laundry, but I have my own things to worry about. I'm afraid that a collapse will happen before Christmas. If not, then before next fall. These students will go on strike if they knew what was really happening. The $10,000 forgiveness from Biden was for the sake of the schools, not the borrowers. Otherwise, the schools would have to be prosecuted for fraud, a much more expensive endeavor. This is from the Philippines. Meat is in stock. Price is not spiking like before. They did have some price increases. Lots of rain this year. Vegetables are expensive, but not terribly so. They're talking about Coke. Coke will be out of sugar over here by October, unless everyone drinks diet. They may be pushing diet here and Coke Zero. Sugar crisis and the sugar shortage is real. So I hope you're prepared for it where you live. I don't know if this is something worth sharing, but a personal experience I thought I'd put out there. We live in North Carolina for 6 years. Having moved here from Pacific Northwest, the first thing we notice is the hot, humid summers are. We also found that nearly everyone here is dependent on their AC. AC sucks up tons of electricity, and they also make it harder to go outside on hot days because you get accustomed to the cooler temperatures indoors. As a principal, we only used it on days when it was over 90 degrees inside, and that was only because I have babies in the house. When my husband started working on the siding on the portion of the house with the heat pump inlet last fall, we disconnected it. Then we decided just to leave it disconnected to see if we could handle the summer without any air conditioning. We had a couple of cheap box fans and a basement, so on the hottest days our kids can get out of the heat. We haven't had any problem doing this, and we'll be getting rid of the heat pump. Just the other day, my husband went out to run an errand, and he noticed that people in the building were huddled near the AC, sweating and complaining, while he thought it was a bit chilly in there. I think we've adapted to the heat a little. I worry about the people in the summer, in the warmer states, getting heat stroke or just getting angry and mentally unstable when they can't use their air conditioning because it's either too expensive or we're having a blackout. I know summer is coming to a close, but people who feel like they're healthy enough to challenge themselves might want to try going without their AC to see if they can handle it. That is an excellent test. Can you handle it without air conditioning? As you probably heard, the Chinook helicopter had some engine fires, and I think this was due to some parts that were put into it. So they're grounded all of the Chinooks, and they're checking to make sure this part is in there. I'm a fan of the Chinooks. I've spent, I don't know, forever in a Chinook. I love a Chinook. I felt safest in a Chinook, especially because it's a big bus. This person, I work for a large HVAC company in Arizona. We had a 30% increase this year in our costs for new equipment. We just got a message from our distributor, and the manufacturers are going to raise the wholesale cost again up to 25% by the end of the year. We called some of the other manufacturers, and they all said the same thing. Part of this cost is all the goods are going up. The other part is the EPA changed the law on upcoming efficiency requirements the first of the year. That is the government. We live in North Georgia in the tri-state area. This is what we have noticed. Our regular brand of potato chips pictured here in an attachment not only has these miniature chips, the entire bag is like this. It's not much bigger than a quarter. Our local Dollar Tree is in shambles. Carts in the aisles. Carts are full, or items are just stacked everywhere. It's trashed. We notice they have 3 freezers in the back of the store completely empty, but with the signs above each of them advertising $3, $4, $5 respectively. So now, not only is the store $1.25 per item, now the frozen stuff is costing more. Walmart in their area, the shelves are moved far apart. So far you could drive a Mini Cooper down them. At our local food line, I was about to purchase some Asian pasta when I remember what you said about checking for expiration date, and sure enough, the entire row of noodles were expired. There are also many products that were due to expire in a week, and this is not normal. These people are a middle-aged, retired couple, not rich, but not poor either. I'm concerned over the power grid issues, especially with us living in South Louisiana with potential storms and all. I'm getting ready to pull the trigger on some solar. My goal is able to run the whole house during the day and night. We went from the average of $170 a month on our electric bill to over $300 a month. I talked to this person, personally talked to him. If you're going to do a solar system, if you're going to try to buy all the parts off Amazon, know what you're doing. I've talked to numerous people this week that went that route. They bought all these parts off Amazon, and the parts aren't working together. Charger controller is not the right size. They don't have enough panels. It's just back and forth. So find a good place to buy your equipment that will all go together. One place I recommend is shopsolarkits.com. They have complete kits with all the parts. Please, if you do not know what you're doing, get some professional help, or at least buy the kit that all goes together. This person has a pet care, and they have a grooming van, and their part is on back order, and this is devastating. If you use that van to drive around and do service for people, and it's in the shop or can't be driven, it's costing people a lot of money. So all these back ordered parts are actually hurting people dearly. If you can't go get, do your job, you can't make money. So there's a few examples of what's happening. Boots on the ground is important because it's telling people what's happening to you, your boots on the ground. Whatever's happening, if you could send it to southernprepper1@yahoo.com. That way I can share it with other people. It does help people. It motivates people. It shows people that they have bare spots in their preps, or maybe because there's a shortage over here, maybe I should make sure I have enough so if the shortage comes to my community, I'll be ready. Thanks for watching.